Ago and Ame come from an ancient African tribal language known as Chui. Ago is the voice of God saying, I am here. Acknowledge my presence. Acknowledge that I am the one in whom you live, move, and have your being. And we respond, Ame. We acknowledge that you are the source of life. You are invited, Lord God, to stay within us.
Today, we joyfully acclaim Jesus, our Savior and King. May we reach one day the happiness of the new and everlasting Jerusalem by faithfully following him who lives and reigns forever and ever.
I was baptized a Roman Catholic 10 days after birth, what we might call a first generation Roman Catholic, also referred to as cradle Catholic. Here you have a young black male in a Bible Belt state becoming a Roman Catholic. So in many ways, when I look over my life, I would have to say that God was preparing me for this particular ministry known as Imani Temple, African American Catholic Congregation, even before I even knew what was going on in my life. So I was very much aware of the particular climate in which I was born and reared, that it was very much the South, it was racist, segregationist, and that in order to make our cause known involved getting involved in demonstrations. I can remember getting arrested as a 15-year-old teenager. I'm a black man in the segregationist South. I had to fight for equal rights, and that in and of itself engendered in me that revolutionary spirit, that I was not just simply going to sit back and allow someone else to determine my fate, to name me, to speak for me, to define me. I was ordained a Roman Catholic priest in the year 1974 after having completed theological studies at the North American College in Rome, Italy, near the Vatican. The Bishop of Raleigh, North Carolina, and I did not see things eye to eye. At that particular time, as an African American seminarian, I was sporting a mustache, which the bishop found to be distasteful. Because you look like a Baptist minister. He told me that he was going to keep me out of the seminary because I had gone to Rome and become too independent. I said, I'm not going to allow a man to stop me from studying for the priesthood over facial hair. I saw that if we injected within Roman Catholicism certain aspects of spiritual traditions that came out of the African American experience, we could create an expression of Catholicism that would be responsive to the profound spiritual and cultural needs of African Americans. When I went to my bishop, the Archbishop of Washington, James Cardinal Hickey, and told him that I had reached a crossroads in ordained ministry in the Roman Catholic Church, and knew that we had to do something better, something more profound for African Americans if we wanted to attract them to the Roman Catholic Church. He could not understand why there was a need for that.
God can take the agony of defeat and turn it into the thrill of victory.
Yes. Yes.
That's why we're here today. Because God can take nonsense and make sense out of it.
I made the decision to break with the Roman Catholic Church in June of 1989, and a few weeks later launched the beginning of Imani Temple on July 2nd, 1989. I did not receive the approval, approbation, or blessing of my local bishop. In fact, he considered that move to be an act of disobedience.
Breaking from the Roman Catholic Church was alarming to the papacy, as well as some individuals that I put in the category of being zealots. There were those that felt that there should not be an independent ministry breaking from Rome.
Never in the history of Catholicism in the United States have black people ever stood up and said to the Roman Catholic Church and to its hierarchy, we're going to take ownership and control over our own destiny.
Imani is doing his part, enlightening people about the necessity of loving themselves, their black self, their Afrocentric self, their drum self, their movement self.
On the very first Sunday, on July 4th, I can remember the preparation for that day, going to choir rehearsal, the whole ceremony, the start up. I think it was one of the most beautiful days that I've celebrated.
I grew spiritually in the church. I grew to love the service, the people, and what they were talking about, their own expression of God in the form of a black man. So I've been with the church over 20 years. I've grown spiritually. I've watched my spiritual leader, Bishop Stallings, grow. I've seen him when he's fallen. I've seen him get right back up and keep on going.
I got a run coming on. I'm coming on. I am.
The drum opens the spiritual chakras of the body to allow wisdom and knowledge to come in. And African people use the drum to teach wisdom and knowledge, and of course the dance is to build self-esteem and personhood.
What makes Imani different from any other church, as far as I know, is that the drumming, calling of the ancestors. For me, that's very important.
I ended up standing for the whole mass and didn't care. Between the drums, the colors, the Agawame, all of it, I felt like I was home.
When you're speaking of a reclamation, when I say a reclamation, that is reclaiming your cultural heritage, it is critically important that you go to the things that are most powerful in your cultural presence, and that is, in fact, the music.
Jesus was a black man, and that the Roman Catholic Church really isn't there for blacks.
That can be very liberating to people when they're thinking about the struggles and challenges that they're going through, and that Jesus the Christ, the Anointed One, looked just like us and went through pain and suffering just like us. He was not this blue-eyed, straight-haired, fair-skinned white Jesus. It gets us to understand the psychological things that have been taught to us that help to keep us in bondage, if you will.
The Black Christ, Black Church Project, being revelatory and being very controversial. Some people actually got angry. They said, what? Christ was black? No, I can't accept that. Can you accept the fact that the greater number of people that are mentioned in the Bible are people of color? Yeah, that's suspect too.
We asked those who participated in the demonstration to bring their pictures, their photographs of a white Jesus, and we burned those images, those white images, in Freedom Plaza.
The Jesus of history that you saw walking up the street just a few minutes ago is only an imposter.
Unlock the chains of so many blocked brains and insane blotched claims of a white Jesus in a box frame where it hangs when our black homes over a spark flame. What a shameful paradox that somehow became one of history's greatest injustices, that it would have never been explained until you, Bishop Stallings, gave us the audacity to give the truth